All right, so Daredevil episode 4. Okay, this was trippy. This was a very weird episode. So, we got more therapy time with Wilson and Vanessa. And we find out at first when she was explaining what attracted her to Adam, I thought Muse. She is in a relationship with Muse. Which it could still be that she might not be aware that he's Muse. But towards the end, we see some guy with long hair, full beard, and Wilson is holding him hostage. And he's having dinner right there. Obviously to torture him because he's probably not feeding him or feeding him very little or something. And now my question is that really Vanessa's Adam? Or is this some other Adam? Either one is possible. He could be torturing the wrong person. We don't know. Because we've never seen Adam. So maybe he has the right guy. Because usually Fisk doesn't go after the wrong people, but you never know. I mean, it started off with Daniel letting slip while super drunk about the mayor's union busting of, I guess, a garbage union because it was titled Mayor Garbage. And so I don't know if this was BB's doing or if this was her friend's doing, because I don't think we know anything about their friend, who was also getting drunk along with the other two. So maybe she's a print journalist. We don't know. It could have been BB. But Daniel he cops to it because, well, first off, Daniel doesn't know Fisk well enough, because if he understood that he used to be Kingpin, which, like I said, people seem to have gotten amnesia about, it's like only a few people are familiar with Fisk as Kingpin. He, admitted that he was the one, he was drunk, blah, blah, blah. And Fisk gives him a pass, but threatens him with his life. Now, I don't know if Daniel understands that that's what the threat is, rather than he might think that, oh, he's just threatening to fire me if I do this again. No, he's threatening to kill you. And you could see it on Sheila's face. She knew damn well what that threat was. I mean, she was trying to protect Daniel because she knows what Fisk is capable of. And because she knows what he's capable of, she tried to take one for Daniel. To as much as he annoys her, she doesn't want him dead. So, but like I said, I don't think Daniel fully comprehends who Fisk is. So, I mean, like, Fisk wanted to immediately, without any feasibility studies, without anything, he wanted to change Red Hook into an industrial area because he has no understanding of how government works. Can government be more efficient? Sure. But you got to make sure that if you're going to have industries there and people shopping, people thriving there, you got to make sure that you're not slowly killing them with whatever's in the soil or whatever's in the air. So, yeah, she managed to talk him down as to how shit works. And then they find out about the mayor garbage. So, but I don't think Sheila fully comprehends. I mean, she knows what he's capable of, but at the same time, she showed it to him before he was supposed to get to his next engagement. And what the fuck is it with everybody thinking that the only song they're going to sing to him is We Built This City by Starship? Now, I mean, I was that his campaign song or something that everyone is singing that to him? And in the case of those little kids, badly. Maybe because I absolutely love Starship and all its iterations. And so that was just very painful. And you could see Fisk really tried to get out of there. He was like being tortured just as much as me. So, yeah. Maybe don't piss him off right before an event, especially one that's supposed to be a welcoming event. So, yeah, maybe not the best thing to do, but at the same time, she probably thought, yeah, he's going to figure it out eventually anyway. He's probably going to get it on his phone. I better, show him before, that if we wait too long, and he finds out on his own, he'll be even more pissed. That's possible too. So, I guess, I don't know if that means Daniel's no longer going to hang out with BB, or if Fisk is going to go after BB. It's still uncertain whether BB knows that Fisk killed her uncle. So it's still unclear whether she's aware of this or if she's just being a journalist and it's going to come out eventually. I mean, maybe Fisk threatens her and tells her, or maybe she finds out on her own, or like I said, maybe she already knows. That might be one of the reasons why she's interested in getting close with Fisk, because she wants to get close to the man who killed her uncle. I mean, there could be so many possibilities here. So, yeah. The question is the Adam that he has being caged up, is that the real, Vanessa's Adam? Or is it, like she implied, Muse? Because obviously Muse is not in a cage. Muse is taking people and bleeding them. Whether he's bleeding them dry or just taking some of their blood. But either way, psycho. I'd like to think that BB doesn't know about Fisk yet, simply because friends don't let friends get killed by sociopaths. So I would like to think that she wouldn't throw Daniel under the bus if she knew what Fisk was capable of. So, I mean, it's still possible that she thought that maybe Daniel wouldn't, fall on his sword and say, yeah, I did that. I screwed up. Whereas, otherwise, if she had known and let this happen, That would be kind of a dickish thing to do to Daniel, because, I mean, maybe this is her way of showing Daniel who Fisk really is, and that maybe he would start to question that I probably don't want to be involved with Fisk. Obviously, that didn't happen because I don't think Daniel understood the threat. Sheila obviously did, but I don't think he did. Which is probably gonna come back to bite him in the ass, if not this season, not um anytime soon, by the end of the season. I'm predicting he is going to end up dead. So yeah, there's Death Watch on him. No Cherry this episode, so no continued Death Watch on him. Um, the other big thing was Matt dealing with the aftermath of Hector's death. Now, he's dealing with two tragedies. He's dealing with Hector's death. He's still dealing with Foggy. So he still sits on the rooftop, and he got a call from Kristen, and he gets a client. A client who these dirty cops, ate a bunch of, I guess, caramel corn, because that's what he apparently stole. And then took him in after they ate a bunch, because I guess they wanted to make it look even worse. So, and he treats Matt awful, which, what you find out later, you kind of understand. I mean, when you're jerked around in the system, because, now granted, I'm not saying he's completely innocent. It sounded like his 30 days incarceration prevented him from going to an SSI appointment. Now granted, that sucks. They should have given him some sort of release so he could go to that appointment, whether he goes in with the cops or what, but he still has to survive after he gets out. That is true. But nowhere did he say that he did not do the thing that he was accused of. Just that the system keeps jerking him around. So now, and it's true, the system can be harsh, especially on a certain skin color. So yeah. And but Matt was happy he gave him only 10 days, and it's in Rikers still, because that's what you do with petty thieves. You put them in Rikers. Actually, under the real regime right now, you send them to El Salvador to be tortured to death. So so he makes a good point that people like him get jerked around. Now, it's implied that the dirty cops are always picking on him, but I don't know if that's the case. He said he paid for it last week, which I agree with Matt. It sounds sus. Now, is he completely innocent? Maybe. Or maybe he already has a rap sheet, whether because he did the stuff or he didn't, but he already has a rap sheet. So dirty cops are like, yeah, what's one more citation. So yeah, he's really not feeling Matt, and the fact that Matt is blind just makes him really go off. And I'm just like, just because you are on Social Security, I assume for a disability, doesn't mean that all disabled people are, on disability. Some people thrive, and if you only knew with Matt. So he's dealing with that, an in-grade client, along with dealing with Hector and his belongings. It looked like he actually was taking his belongings out, I guess, taking the white tiger costume back to his wife. But his niece comes, and she's just a kid. And from what I've heard, what I've read, she's probably going to become the new white tiger. Obviously, considering her age, I doubt she's going to start immediately. It might be a while before we get her as White Tiger. And she wants to see what the dirty cops did to her did to her uncle. Because let's face it, she's not stupid. Even though Matt is trying to smooth things out, trying to claim that we'll get the people who did this, it wasn't the cops. And I mean, she's not an idiot. She knows exactly what happened. I mean, come on. You out him, then he was fighting a bunch of dirty cops, and then he was, all of a sudden killed. Yeah, it was dirty cops. So he goes to find the bullet because the medical examiner, whom I thought at first was on the take, that they didn't have the bullet. And he's like, yeah, if it's on my table, I don't care. Which, dude. And so Matt uses his hearing to figure out where the bullet is. So he finds the bullet, and it has Frank's Punisher logo. So I was very confused when he was talking with Frank. Was he expected? Or did he just happen to know where he hangs out? Because the way he and Frank were talking, it's like Frank was expecting him. Well, at first he attacked Matt, so maybe he wasn't expecting him. But the way Matt was acting, it was like, oh yeah, I just came to see you, We're former besties, that type. And then Frank really got him, he showed him the bullet. And Frank didn't show any emotion. I mean, not in the sense of, yeah, you got me, I did it. I don't think that Matt thinks that Frank did it. But at the same time, show it to him. I guess Matt is hoping that Frank will deal with the Punisher cops. My mom really got me when Matt spoke with one of the cops, and he basically threatened him. You know how, Matt asking him about Hector's death, and he's like, I'm not a dirty cop. I wouldn't do that because, everybody in my family were cops and blah, blah, blah. And so he basically threatened Matt, and Matt's like, yeah, you're going to have to bring more people with you than what you did last time. Awesome. So when he was alone in this, and it was foggy, you really thought, okay, is someone going to get the jump on him? I mean, it even looked like there was somebody following him. I mean, it's entirely possible that Matt just, he was able to get away from whoever was following him because Matt is Matt. So, but yeah, it was just a very bizarre. I don't know, because why would Frank kill Hector? So I think it was more of a, oh, by the way, I found this. You might want to know about it. And Frank was basically trying to get him to admit why he's here. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm just, seeking seeking vengeance for such and such a person, for Hector. But he wouldn't say his name, it's just his client. Frank kept goading him to say his name. And then they talked about Bullseye. And Matt's like, hey, he got life. We're good. And it's like, yeah, what about Foggy? Which, I mean, that's just mean. Does it suck that Bullseye is serving life and Foggy is dead? Which, this is, again, we're 4 episodes in and Foggy was mentioned again. There is no way he is permadead. Something happened. Now, what exactly it was? Like I said, Hector's amulet, apparently all it gives is super strength. It apparently all that other stuff that it does in the comics, he doesn't have. So it's possible that the hand might have something to do with it. Who knows? But maybe I just desperately want Foggy to still be alive because, dude, I mean, how can you have Daredevil without Foggy? So yeah. I mean, I guess it's still possible he's permadead, but they keep invoking Foggy, and this is over a year. So, yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention about this episode. I think I've covered everything. Oh, yes. He sleeps with Heather Glenn, and then in the middle of the night, he opens one of the doors outside the apartment building, and it shows all his different masks. And then he opens another one with his nunchucks, and he starts practicing with them. So we still haven't gotten him to put the suit back on, but it's looking very likely that next episode he'll put it on, because now he has a mission. He has to take down those dirty cops for killing Hector. I don't know if he's trying to assuage his guilt, because you could tell he feels horrible that he outed Hector. And now Hector's dead. Which, dude, what were you expecting here? I'm hearing that if this was Hector, if this was White Tiger from the comics, he would have heard that that dirty cop coming a mile away, because it gives him that sense. So I'm going to say that Matt feels guilty about what is happening. And so that is the guilt of losing Foggy had him take the Daredevil suit off. And the act of him just being a lawyer and not helping out at night is one of the things that got Hector killed. And so that might be what gets him to put it on. That plus Frank's pep talk. I mean, as much of a pep talk as you can have by, trying to kill someone. Trying to attack him. Now, I never watched the Punisher series, so I don't know why he's where he is, why he set up shop where he did, and why, more importantly, why is he so disheveled? I understand why he's not wearing the Punisher logo, because he probably knows about the Punisher cops, and he's like, yeah, that logo isn't fit to be shown at this point. But I'd love to know why he let himself go like that. But we've seen in trailer footage that he and Matt team up. So maybe next episode, because it looks like Matt is finally accepting that he's Daredevil. He just can't get away from that. And I love how Frank still called him Red, even though he's currently not Daredevil. He called him Matt and he called him Red. He did both. So yeah. Next episode is probably when they start teaming up. I mean, there's only 9 episodes. So we're through the 4th one. So we're almost halfway through. It's gotta happen next episode where he puts the Daredevil costume back on. Now the question becomes, if and when do they save Adam? Because Wilson told Matt that he will not become Kingpin again if Matt does not become Daredevil. Well, Matt's about to become Daredevil, so hello, Kingpin. Now, the question then becomes, are they going to team up against Muse? Is it going to be Matt versus Kingpin and Muse is separate? Do we see Bullseye again? Because he is life in prison, but this is Bullseye. This is Kingpin. So it's entirely possible that he might escape. And I put that in quotes because, maybe someone helps him. Let me see if there's anything else. I think I covered everything I wanted to in this episode. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one.